Former President and current Republican nominee Donald Trump made some controversial comments about Vice President Kamala Harris while speaking to a convention of black journalists.
Well, the vice president has responded, and she was campaigning in Houston, where she still is today. Robert Moses has more on the latest war of words, as we're calling it. Good morning, Robert.
That's right, Dan and Kurt, good morning to you. Yes, Vice President Kamala Harris in Houston again today to eulogize the late Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. Now, right after a would-be assassin's bullet nearly killed him last month, former President Donald Trump promised to try and unify the country. Well, after yesterday, that promise seems like a distant memory. Last night, the vice president got her chance to respond.
It was the same old show. The divisiveness and the disrespect.
Speaking last night at a convention in Houston of Sigma Gamma Rho, one of the nation's best-known black sororities, Vice President Kamala Harris referred indirectly to comments that former President Donald Trump made earlier that by then had taken over the news cycle.
The American people deserve better. The American people deserve a leader who tells the truth, a leader who does not respond with hostility and anger when confronted with the facts. We deserve a leader who understands that our differences do not divide us. They are an essential source of our strength.
A few hours earlier, former President Trump walked onto the stage at the National Association of Black Journalists convention in Chicago. Barely a minute into his appearance, once ABC's Rachel Scott asked the first question, the Q&A went sideways.
First of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question in such a horrible manner.
Then the former president questioned the vice president's racial identity.
She was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She has always identified as a black woman.
I respect either one. I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn and she became a black person.
Just to be clear,
that isn't true. The vice president, whose mother was Indian American and whose father is black, graduated from Howard University, a historically black institution, and while there joined Alpha Kappa Alpha, a black sorority. After his headline-grabbing appearance in Chicago, former President Trump traveled to Harrisburg for his first rally in Pennsylvania since the assassination attempt in Butler on July 13th.
When I got hit, everybody thought I was going to be a nice guy. I really agreed with that for about 8 hours or so.
In Chicago yesterday, the former president also promised to pardon the rioters who attacked the Capitol on January 6th, and he didn't say yes when asked if his running mate, J.D. Vance, is prepared to take over as president if necessary. Vance will travel to the southern border today, where he will likely hit the vice president on what the Trump campaign says is her poor record as border czar. Dan and Kurt, back to you.